Welcome to the podcast, Arthur. Super excited to talk all about Vibe.co and TV advertising. So let's just dive in. For those who haven't heard of Vibe, what is it? How does it work? How does it make it easy for sports teams to get their games out and promote their games?
Yeah, absolutely. So Vibe, put in a very few words, is an ad platform empowering any brand of any size to advertise on TV and specifically streaming TV, so also known as CTV. And yeah, we've built a super simple platform where you can select the channels that you want. You can select the leagues that you want to advertise on, for example, for specific sports games, and then you can target like specific audiences as well. And it starts as low as $50 a day. So even for very local advertisers, that works really well. Do not spend $50 nationwide; that would be a waste.
Yep.
But locally, that actually makes a lot of sense. And yeah. Teams have been like advertising like more and more. We've seen that extensively, and especially over the last few months, one of the a big pride that we have as well is that UFC is now also a big user of the platform, where they advertise pretty much all their events through Vibe. So yeah, we've made that a priority, and so we're always like working and building new features to serve that customer category as well as best as possible.
Love it, love it, love it. So most sports teams either use an ad agency or the local TV rep, and I think the underlying assumption is that TV is complex. It's hard. It's hard to place ads and what have you. Why is that now a myth with Vibe? It seems like you kind of threw that myth out the window.
Yeah. I mean, the story of Vibe really relates to that. As for myself, I've always advertised my side projects like for friends and those kind of things, because I've been working in advertising technology for a long time, and so programmatic is great, but it's so complex to operate. You need like the full-blown agencies and media traders and data scientists to like actually optimize your campaigns, which you don't want to do in general. And Facebook ads or Google ads were always like so easy to use, and there was that last frontier that I never touched, which was like TV. And TV, like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of the most performing ad channel, and you know it because same as like when you search specific stuff on Google, like you'll click on some links and you'll buy some stuff, and you watch Instagram, and you'll be influenced, and you know you are being influenced. When you watch TV, you remember those brands, you remember the good ads, like you know it works in your head, and so when we saw the like streaming TV exploding and booming and usage growing very fast, and when we saw that there was an opportunity to build such a platform with also limited spend, so that like you don't need to spend $1 million to advertise on TV, that's when we actually started like the Vibe project, and that was for me at the beginning. Like that was just for me, and I was the first user, and actually we advertised Vibe through Vibe as well, and it works really well.
Yep.
So lots of the features that we build as well are just for us, and because we are the same as our clients at the end of the day. So definitely like simplicity and making sure the one of the big instructions that I have and one of the biggest guidelines that I have with the product team is that my mom should be able to use it, and she's not like a marketer or anything like that.
Sure.
But by telling them that makes them understand like the simplicity, and the fact that we have to be like very strict on the fact that we're not inducing crazy complexity. That's easy to introduce when you do those kind of platforms, and always keep it simple for any kind of advertiser.
Love it. So I'm going to put the hat on as a marketing director for a sports team. Let's just pick the Albuquerque Isotopes, a baseball team in Albuquerque, New Mexico. All right, I'm running meta ads. I've got some display. I've got my email working. I'm going to introduce Vibe, doing some TV advertising. Should I start with a direct, ticket sales ad, like, hey, this weekend buy tickets, or am I starting to run brand awareness? What makes sense when people are just getting started?
So I'm generally speaking, and that might sound weird for someone who runs a TV ad platform, I'm not a big fan of branding. Like, especially now, like, I mean, we're all stressed by like the macroeconomics and those kind of things, and like we're not in a time where like you can afford branding or unmeasurable branding. So I'm always a big fan of starting with direct performance. And the cool thing about TV is that it's still a branding medium as well. So it will like have impact on your search campaigns and your social campaigns, while still having a performance-driven campaign and a performance-focused campaigns. So the first thing that I like to do is talk to my audiences directly. So the ones who are already like invested in a way in the relationship with the brand. So I do that by running retargeting. So by placing a pixel on my website, so we provide a pixel through Vibe that's also allows you to track conversions and those kind of things. And we also have like integrations with Ticketmaster for those like who want to track like conversions of on Ticketmaster. And I'll retarget people who have looked at my website, at my Ticketmaster listing, and those kind of thing. And that tends to improve conversion rates by threefold. So it's super efficient. The same thing that you can do is import your CRM audiences, so email lists, and target like those specific email lists. So if you have like a list of fans that like are already invested with you, to make sure that they are targeted, like you can import that. And by doing so, and when doing that, you can spend $50 a day. That's like enough. But what you'll get is learnings. So when you look at the reporting that we provide on Vibe, you'll see where you're getting the best performance. Is it on Tubi? Is it on ESPN? Is it on Disney Plus? Like whatever. Like you'll get that information, and that's where you'll start to be able to create more like conquest campaigns. So you'll create new campaigns where you'll say, okay, I want to target people on Tubi, ESPN, and Disney because I've seen that's what's working the best. I've also seen that people from 18 to 35 are like the audience that reacts the best to performance, and basically that converts the most. And you create a conquest campaign based on that, and that's when you start like also scaling the budgets if you want and have like more conquest campaigns. But that's the profitable and performance-oriented way of doing TV advertising.
Love it. So it sounds like start with some warm audiences, and there's some lot of similarities between Vibe and the meta ads. You can create retargeting list, you can upload your list, you can do all these different things from a list perspective. It has a pixel, we can track conversions, we can track website traffic, we can track how many impressions, you can track a lot of different things. In most cases, TV advertisers, your local TV rep's not going to tell you all these things. They just want to sell you brand awareness because it's the safest and the easiest for them. But now you can actually drill in to figure out which audience are converting and which ones aren't.
Yeah, and working with local reps, and with all due respect with them,
Sure,
it's a pain. Like you have to talk, negotiate, like you have huge commitments, and you contract and blah blah blah. Like whereas like and you can only advertise on the channels they will present. Like whereas like with Vibe, you have access to everything from the get go. In 5 minutes, you can be live on TV, which is a huge difference. Like compared to that.
So do you recommend teams running, and I'm not sure if UFC's doing the same thing, but a lot of teams are going to be running billboards and meta ads at the same time. Do you recommend kind of running that concurrently with Vibe all at the same time, so you're hitting aerial coverage and what have you?
Big time. The more concentrated your spend is, in general, that's not even a TV like recommendation. That's like a general recommendation. Sure. But the more concentrated your spend is, the better. What you should absolutely not do is like 1 week of meta, and then like 1 week of billboards, and then like 1 week of TV and TikTok, and like no, you want everything at the same time because each channel like serves the other channels. Like it compounds like into like greater effects, and especially with TV, what we're seeing more and more is that it has a massive impact on social campaigns and search campaigns, and especially incremental impact. Because what you have to be wary of is incrementality in general. So, and the same goes, it's valid for every ad platform, not just like Vibe or TV ad platforms. It's valid for Meta or whatever. When you start spending more, you want to know who's actually bringing the performance and who's actually bringing the incrementality in revenue for your brand, and for like ticket sales or those kind of thing. And now like you can measure those kind of things with like companies like Triple Whale, Prescient, House, Incremental. There are more and more and more that are popping. And marketers, especially for the more mature ones, but it's now also going to the smaller ones, everyone is kind of has figured that it's the right way of measuring the efficiency of advertising in general. And the thing is, what we've seen in all the reports the incrementality reports that we get from our clients, Vibe is usually number 2. We're never number 1. We're always beaten by Google. Google they're
king.
Pretty good.
Yep.
They're king, like 100%. But then like Vibe is better than Meta. It's better than Snap. It's better than Pinterest and those kind of things. And the reason why, and I mean, like, we have data scientists who like build crazy models and this kind of thing. But one thing that helps a lot is the fact that TV just works.
Sure.
And it's not a question of, oh, so then like I should only do Google. No, you should do like a mix of everything, and then you'll just allocate spend based on the incrementality that you're seeing.
Sure. Now, when someone's setting up their first campaign with Vibe, we know it's $50 a day. Should they run it on an average of 10 days at minimum? Do you recommend a kind of a minimum? Because if they just do $50 for one day, like, you're not going to see anything, right?
No. Usually, the strict minimum I recommend is 2 weeks. Because just the time that like your audiences gets collected from your pixel, for example, for retargeting, the time that the bidder and like the AI basically learns about like what works, what does not, like it takes some time and some spend. So yeah, but it can be $50, but we also like people can also spend much more. It really depends on your goal. So if you want to, the ideal like budget when it comes to getting started to TV advertising is have at least a budget, the daily budget that is 3 times your average basket size.
So 3 times your average order value?
Yeah, exactly. So like let's say you sell like $50 tickets. Well, your ideal budget to get started would be like $150 per day.
Got it.
And that for 14 days. Like that will make, basically, if you don't like spend that enough, you won't get enough conversions, and therefore you won't get like the right results and the right insights to define whether or not like that campaign worked or not. And the risk that you have when doing so is that you just wasted like $50 like over 15 days.
Sure.
Like, and which sucks. Whereas like if you have 150, you can get to a conclusion at the end of the 14 days.
Got it. So the recommendation is run it 3 times whatever your average order value is, and then run it for 2 weeks. And from there, you're going to get a really good idea of what worked, what didn't, what drove traffic. You're going to also build an audience similar to Meta of some folks to kind of go after. So that totally makes sense. Now, do you recommend teams, and I'm not sure if UFC does this or not, so they're running probably a video ad on Meta. Are they running the same exact video on TV?
Lots of time, yes. As long as it's a 16:9 format, but yeah, usually it's the same that you'll see on YouTube or on Meta or like other channels.
And then the ones that convert the best are the 15s and 30s versus 60s, or what have you seen?
Yeah, we don't do any 60s for one simple reason is that there is very low inventory, and the few that there is super expensive. So we only do 15 to 30. The general recommendation is to do 30 seconds because it's not much more expensive. You'd expect that it's like twice as expensive. It's not. It's like 10% more expensive. So for 10% more, you get like double the duration. So that's great. And then one thing that we're seeing most marketers like mistakes that most marketers are doing is not spending enough like time or focus on the sound, because people are used to like having like muted ads online, like even on YouTube, or like people don't really listen. Whereas like on TV, you're in the middle of the living room and sound is on, and sound is loud usually. So it's like 50% of the performance of your ad will actually come from the sound. So the general recommendation I give is make sure that at least 3 times during the 30 seconds, the name of your brand and ideally the domain is mentioned, and same goes for the call to action.
Sure.
So if you're selling tickets, like state that like several times. Like don't try to be like crazy creative Hollywood style, like Sundance style. No, be direct, straight to the point.
We're just going to ask people to buy stuff. Let's
go. Yeah. But that's what works best. If
Sure.
not, like, I mean, and it's true for advertising in general, but people are exposed to lots of ads, and if they don't understand what you're selling, that won't convert.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. If teams are interested to get started, I can put a link in the show notes. What's the first step there? They start drilling in. As they start clicking in, they're going to see their audience size. Is there a certain size audience that you recommend? Because there's teams from small cities like Minot, North Dakota, to big cities like Sacramento.
Yeah.
Like, is there a certain size audience that's a good starting audience size as you get going?
Yeah, I would say the minimum would be like 10,000 visits a month on your website is really a minimum. And if you're not getting 10,000 visits, maybe I should not say that. But you should probably not start by doing TV. You should do a bit more of Meta. You should do a bit more of Google. And then when you get there, that's when it really makes sense to actually activate TV. And that's where you'll also see like compounding results on Meta and Google by the fact that you're using TV. So I would recommend like 10,000 to 20,000 is really an ideal starting point. And of course, like if you have like 100,000, 200,000, those kind of volumes, that's a no-brainer. Like even do it with Vibe or don't do it with Vibe. I don't care, but just do it because it's to me like one of the biggest silver bullet in marketing right now. It's like streaming TV retargeting. Like that's like where we're seeing the most incrementality and the highest ROAS I've ever seen. Like we have issues publishing some case studies because the ROAS are just so big that it doesn't seem true. and I mean, and we check it like with incrementality, we check it with our own tools, with third-party tools, and every time it's like, yeah, 1,000% ROAS, and you're like, and we talk with marketing, and you're like, we can't publish a case study that will say like 1,000% ROAS, but that just works that good. And again, if that sounds too peachy, do it with someone else. I don't care, but just do it because that's what's best for your brand.
Love it. All right. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here. Great conversation about Vibe.co. So if teams are interested in placing TV ads, I actually did a tutorial to show how easy it was, and I did a video, and I'll put a link in the show notes so teams can check it out. But I'll also put a link in the show notes. Teams can hop on, give it a test ride, give it a try, see what it's all about. And I think teams are going to be blown away about how simple this is to place TV ads in their community. And the best case scenario, we're going to sell some tickets. And I think that's what everyone's trying to do. So, Arthur, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, and thanks for the kind words about Vibe. That really means a lot to be enabling clients like teams, like partners like you. It goes directly to the heart. Thank you.